consideration of resolution authorizing the chair of the board to approve and direct the tax collector to sell at public auction via internet tax default property, which is subject to the power to sell in accordance with Chapter 7 of Part 6 of Division 1 of the California Revenue and Taxation Code and approving sales below minimum price in specified cases. Treasurer Tax Collector.
Thank you, Board, and apologies for the long title. This is the tax sale that is before you, is the tax sale that's planned for May 26th through May 30th. Your board should note that there was an update this morning based off where everything stood at the close of business yesterday. Since the agenda items were originally submitted, there have been multiple redemptions, withdrawals. There have been other parcels that were pulled for other reasons, including potential agreement sales or other impediments to sale that we had to take them off the original list for the sale. So there are 867 parcels remaining that are before you for your approval. There are 122 that have a reduced bid. So those are attached in a separate sheet just for your reference if you wish to have a better understanding of what the original bid was, what the original bid necessary was versus what we ultimately settled on for offering it at. There were 60 parcels redeemed for a total of approximately 263,000. And we do expect there will be more redemptions in between, but this is the list essentially as it stood at 5 p.m. yesterday. If your board has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Supervisor Spatier.
Yes, just quick question, two things. One, you mentioned that certain ones have been redeemed as of yesterday, close of business. I know, as you stated as well, that there will be more redemptions before it eventually goes to the tax auction. Does that mean we can approve without having an updated list in the sense that what's approved as updated has state law that requires you to pull these from the list as they come to be redeemed, so therefore we don't need to really review it as updated?
Yes, Supervisor Sabatier, the process is different for removal once the board approves this list. There are certain processes that change. Up until this point, my office, based off, for instance, a request to do an agreement sale with an eligible agency, we could remove it for that reason. If someone were to present some sort of good cause for taking it off there, if there was something being worked out, we could remove it without further review. The difference is once the board approves it, there are certain steps that have to be taken. It either needs to be redeemed, where the full amount's paid. There are some other actions like a bankruptcy proceeding, the initiation of bankruptcy proceedings where we'd be bound to remove it. But for a lot of other reasons, we couldn't remove it simply because someone asked us to and had some sort of plan in place. For removal, that doesn't fit neatly within one of those statutes. At that point, it would have to go through county council for further review, and it's a more involved process. So at this point, when your board approves the list, essentially barring some more unusual circumstances, this is the list that will be going forward.
And I'm sorry to ask the question again, just to maybe I wasn't clear. You said that some were redeemed, so the list that we have in front of us is not the last up-to-date list?
I'm sorry. So originally we started with around 1,000 properties. So this is the list as it stood at the end of the day yesterday. At 5 p.m., this 867 parcels are what's remaining in the sale from what was started on last year.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then my second question is, some of them for the deficit amounts are at $1. Are those being pulled off, or have those been reevaluated so that there's a specific amount that's reduced by?
So all of those were,
I believe there were 6 of them.
yeah, I was going to say, I thought there were 5.
Or 5.
And those should have all been redone in that post we did this morning. We were waiting on information from other state agencies. And if we couldn't get it in time, we would have had to pull them from the sale, but I believe we received.
And my mistake, I was going with what I reviewed over the weekend and yesterday, and had not re-reviewed this specific item since the morning. So if it was updated, I looked now, and there are none that are set to be put to bid for $1. So that has been resolved. Apologize.
No problem.
Actually, no, there are ones that, let me make sure to reload, but I just loaded this. It shows $1. It's under the minimum bid round notes, or minimum bid round, and I see at the bottom of page 1, it says note, final bid not complete, and it's for $1. I still see the dollars.
Okay, I'm looking at, so that's the deficit worksheet that's providing additional information. I'm looking at the defaulted land sale number 161. That's the formal list.
Gotcha, so you
I'm not seeing
updated,
anything on there. I think what you're looking at, that worksheet has extra notes, but everything that's on that worksheet is on that official list as well.
gotcha. So the deficit projections were pulling out just the deficits. That list is not correct based on the newly uploaded full list of the 867?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for this dollar. Could you identify which page you're seeing the,
So on the first page of the deficit projections, on the very bottom, the fourth from bottom, it says 035371-110 is $1.
not,
It's the fourth from the bottom on page 1 of the deficit projections.
and are you certain you're looking at the new listing on
I'm
that?
reloading and I'm clicking on a newly updated agenda.
Fourth from the
Okay,
bottom?
let me see.
Oh, I see it.
Fourth from the bottom on.
It's 035371-110.
And it's still $1 in the main list that I'm loading as well, with the 867. It shows up as $1 when I find that APN. Now, it's very possible that I'm loading up from my cache, but I'm reloading and I'm clicking on it, and it's showing up with those numbers. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what we're approving today, because a minimum bid of $1 is pretty awesome, but I want to make sure that we get
Yeah, that's
what we
certainly not
need.
intentional. Let me just pull it up a different way, because I'm not drawing that same value here.
Zero three what?
035371-110.
Am I looking on the same one you were?
2,600, I didn't see a dollar.
311,
See here?
371.
371.
You're on worksheet.
You're looking at a
though.
different thing.
Yeah, you're on
Three.
worksheet mode.
No, that's what he's talking about. 371110.
Yes.
thought
this
that-
is The
800.
document with the 161 on.
It would appear that I'm looking at something that's in my
Deficit
cache,
save PDF update.
Okay, all right.
because I just looked at Supervisor Crandall's, and it shows a very different number than what I have.
Yeah, and that's what I'm reading too. I think, and it may be because of the shared type.
Oh, yeah, I see the dollar there, but I thought this one said updated down there on the bottom.
I added the updated ones this morning.
Okay.
They're like
And I got
second up from.
26,472. Yeah, I don't see no dollar there.
Oh, I was looking at the list. I didn't realize.
I added new lists.
If I may just provide an issue, it's hard to know when this agenda is updated if we're not told that it's updated, and I didn't realize that 2 new attachments popped up between last night and this morning, and I was not aware that I should be clicking on updated versus the original attachments that we've been looking at since this was put into place. So I apologize, but a heads up sometimes would, especially if it's early in the morning that it's updated, it would help. So I apologize, my
Maybe
fault.
just throw an updated with the date on it or something.
Yeah, I can do a date in the future. And part of the problem here for us, honestly, is that the 1,000 properties is pretty much a crushing load on our office. So people have been working on this nonstop. So we were working on it up until yesterday to try to make sure that I could get through today. So we can do the best we can, and definitely we can advise in the future. I don't know if another sale will be structured exactly the same way, because hopefully we're switching to a different system later this fall, but we can try to give earlier notice the best we can.
No, I apologize for not seeing that there were updated links rather than updating on top of the real links. So my mistake, but I just wanted to check in and make sure, since we had talked about that yesterday and expected the update.
Supervisor Green?
So just to clarify, whatever the final document is referenced in the resolution we're being asked to pass, it will be attached as Exhibit A. So I guess one thing we could do is, when we bring resolutions with exhibits, we do it as a single bundle, so we don't have to go figure that out. So it looks like the resolution's fine. We're going to have an Exhibit A, whichever document we're picking out of the pile here. But maybe the cleanest way to do it would be to actually attach the exhibit to the resolution as it's presented here.
Yes, we can do that in the future. If we do an update, we can reattach the resolution to it and make it one file in the morning. I believe going forward, we'll likely always have to do the ability to do an update either the night before the board meeting or the morning of, because the method in which people can pay funds changes. So once your board effective today, people have to pay with secured funds. So that's one of the distinctions. So I think going forward that, supervisor's suggestion, I think we could do that, which is to create a new package the morning of or the night before with the new resolution and the list of properties, just to make it cleaner.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Now that I've unnecessarily given you a hard time, Mr. Sullivan, I just want to say thank you very much for the added level of communication. I know that I've been involved in your communication with the City of Clear Lake in looking at what properties are being placed on there, what properties they would like to deal with in more of a direct way. I just really appreciate the enhanced level of communications coming from your department. I want to applaud you for that.
Thank you, and I would definitely applaud my staff. They've been working very diligently on this, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, public input?
There are no hands in Zoom.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the board for action.
I offer the resolution.
Okay, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Aye.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.